We get a chance on about a monthly basis to chat with one of our U.S. representatives directly from Washington, and that is Representative Raul Labrador, who represents half of Idaho. And joining us this morning on the air, it's 8:17. Right now we're at 32. Bill Colley on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX, and newsradio1310.com. Representative, welcome back to the program.
Great to be on your show, Bill. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And we were going to be talking today specifically, and it's definitely become the most timely issue, I think, of really the new year. You and three of your colleagues have crafted a bill that would definitely get the border security improved with walls in some places and better security in others, and also create some sort of agreement, at least to sort out who all of these DACA recipients would be. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how this came about with the four of you.
Yes, so as you know, I'm the chairman of the Immigration Subcommittee in the House Judiciary Committee. So the House Judiciary Committee chairman, Bob Goodlatte, and Michael McCall, who's the Homeland Security Committee chairman, and myself and Martha McSally, and she's the Border Security Subcommittee chairwoman in the Homeland Security Subcommittee, we decided to get together and listen to what the president had been asking for. He said that he would be willing to be fair with the DACA recipients if he received certain specific things from Congress. He talked about border security, he talked about chain migration, and he talked about the visa lottery. And I'm sure you've talked about these issues a lot on your show, but as you know, chain migration is where one person can come to the United States and then they can bring a series of people to the United States based only on family relationships. Not the needs of the United States, but the family relationships that they have. And then the visa lottery, the diversity visa, which it's literally a lottery, is we put a bunch of names into a hopper, and they pick 55,000 people every year that come to the United States just purely based on a lottery. Those are things that we don't need in the United States. What we need is a merit-based system that allows people to come to the United States based on the needs of the United States, not on the needs of the immigrants. So he's asked for those things. So on border security, what we decided to do is to put a bill together that would keep those promises, and we came up with this bill that does those things. So it ends the diversity visa program, it ends chain migration, it reduces overall immigration levels, it increases the immigration levels for skilled workers. It also includes an agricultural worker program, which is important to your valley, to the Magic Valley. It includes for the first time dairies in the ag guest worker program. This is something that many of your listeners don't understand, but the dairy industry doesn't even have a program available to them in the current visa system. So we create an ag worker visa system for the dairies. We do, and we increase visa security. We build the border wall. We give money for advanced technology. We secure ports of entry. We make E-Verify mandatory. We crack down on sanctuary cities. We include Kate's Law. We deal with asylum fraud. And the most important thing that we do is we close all the loopholes that the law currently has that allows illegal immigrants to stay in the United States. And that's what people don't understand, is we can give billions and billions of dollars to border security and to the Border Patrol, but immigration and ICE, they do not have the authority to kick all these people out. So what ends up happening is what we call catch and release, which these people come into the United States. Many of them actually turn themselves in because they know that the government is not going to kick them out of the country.
When we talk about this, and I'm sure that most of the people who listen in Idaho, just knowing the political makeup of the state, they say, yes, that sounds great. But I've been reading so much about how the Washington Examiner editorial yesterday even said, for the Democrats, it's good politics just to walk away from this, or they think it is. And even if they have to do what's called a partial shutdown of the government, they'll go ahead and do it because they know that they have a certain group of media on their side. What's going to happen with all of this in the coming days?
What's going to happen is that the Washington Examiner is absolutely right. The Democrats believe that this is their key to electoral victory and to victories in the future. That that they're willing to do minimal security in exchange for a broad amnesty. The problem that we have here in Congress is that we have a bunch of Republicans who don't understand that we don't have to cave to Democrats on this issue. That on this issue, we're right on the politics and we're right on the policy. In fact, I always believe that if you're right on the policy, you're always right on the politics anyway. But this is the right policy. Donald Trump, I mean, think about what Donald Trump did over the last 2 years, over the last 3 years. He defeated 16 of the most talented Republicans that have ever run for office. He defeated them all by concentrating on this issue, on the issue of immigration, on ending chain migration, on building a wall, on making sure that we don't repeat the mistakes of 1986 with Ronald Reagan and the amnesty in 1986. That's why he won the presidency. Then he went on to defeat the most talented politician that the Democrats could put up at the time, which was Hillary Clinton. And so you have Republicans in Washington who don't understand just the strength that this message has, and how if we stand strong and we say we are for border security, but we are also for treating these young kids that came to the United States with their parents in an honorable way. And I think that's a fair position to have. This is a fair bill, but the important thing is that it's tough on on security. And I'm not going to stand here and allow the Democrats to bring us something that is soft on security and grants a broad amnesty. And if the Republicans in Congress do not understand that this is what we need to do, they're gonna find themselves in a world of hurt come November, because the American people will not stand with them.
It's 8:24, and our guest is U.S. Representative Raul Labrador joining us this morning, and we're talking about an immigration deal and DACA as well that could be in the works. 35 right now on Top Story with Bill Colley on KLIX. Got about 3 minutes left to go. So where does all of this, where do you think at least it's going to be going from here?
Well, what we're hoping is that the president is a little bit more clear on his position on this. He has said that this is a bill he likes. He said it at the White House. If you remember last week, he talked about the Good Lad bill, which is this bill. He has his Homeland Security Secretary has said that this is the bill that they're looking for. So we just need to get all Republicans to get together and work on this. We need to understand that we need to come from a position of strength. We need to dare the Democrats to shut down the government over DACA. If they shut down the government over something like amnesty, I don't think the American people are going to appreciate that. And I think a lot of Democrats understand that. Their problem is that they're afraid of their base, and they know that if they don't give in to the DACA population, that they're going to get challenged in Democratic primaries, and the Democratic Party is moving further and further and further to the left on these issues. I mean, it's ironic if you look online, all the Democrats just 8 years ago were talking about border security. We're talking about some of the same things that we're talking about in our bill, and that was the things that they stood for. And in 8 years, they have completely shifted to the left, where they believe that people have a right to be in the United States illegally. It's almost like, I mean, they almost call it a human right to stay in the United States. There's no right to be a citizen of the United States. You don't have a right to come into my country illegally and remain in my country. However, we have decided that we can do something for that population as long as we close the loopholes that are in the law. So we just need to keep working hard, working with the administration, working with the Senate, and taking a tough position on this bill.
I was going to say before we let you go that I think that I'm a little easier to talk to than Tucker Carlson, but he didn't really give you a rough time last week.
No, he was great. I'm going to be on the show again tonight. So,
really? Oh,
so it should be fun. He is tough.
That's the one show I do stay up for late at night.
Yes.
Well, they got the promo in there. That's great. All right, we'll be talking with you again sometime soon. We wish you great luck on this. Keep us posted.
Hey, thank you very much.
Take care, sir. That is U.S. Representative Raul Labrador joining us this morning on News Radio 1310 KLIX. and newsradio1310.com. So his appearance last week, if you were watching Tucker Carlson, you saw that on Fox News Channel. The next day, it was all over the internet as well. And for those of you who do Facebook, you have a lot of various Facebook pages related to patriotic and conservative causes right here in Idaho. In fact, there are two that I know of in the Magic Valley. There's a statewide Tea Party Idaho Facebook page, and they have these pages in Pocatello, Idaho Falls, Boise. And I was able last week, after actually seeing that interview, to find it online the next morning, and I posted it to all of those various websites. And let me tell you, it got a great, great reaction. We're coming up on 8:28. We've got time for one caller before the break, before we join Dan Tom from the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Department. Caller, you're up next. You're on the air.
Yes, I was wondering if you could give the name and house number of that bill that Labrador's trying to run through.
Yes,
so we can tell our friends.
If you want to write this down off air, I've got it here. Actually, I had the details from yesterday's email and the actual bill number. Because this is the thing, you call Washington, and the first thing they'll ask you is what's the number. They don't necessarily mean that to throw you off, but they're working in a busy office. The bill number is this. It's HR. That's H period R period. That's for House Rule. HR 4760. That's HR H.R. 4760. So if you just jot that down quickly, HR 4760, you might even be able to well, we have another state representative here in Idaho. I've never met the man. I've only been here 37 months. But you might want to call his office and ask him if he can support it as well. Actually, tell him you represent me. I think you need to support this. That would be an excellent start. Coming up on 8:30, as I mentioned, we'll be joined in just a couple of minutes by Dan Tom from the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Department. That's on the way shortly. We're at 33. Great weather today. We may be in the 50s in some parts of the valley. We're still not out of the woods yet. Long-range forecast says some colder weather, not this weekend, but not much colder, but colder than we've seen lately, coming up probably the following weekend, the weekend between before the Super Bowl. And we've got this to mention as well. If you're struggling keeping your home warm during the winter, call the pros at Ramsey Heating and Electric. They'll come out and they'll get the job done right, and they'll get it done right the first time. Problem-free, cozy winters are found at Ramsey Heating and Electric, and I'll tell you what, you can find them, the store, at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, or you can telephone them, 208-678-0459. That's 208-678-0459, Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they sell warm winters and cool summers. Bill Cawley with you this morning on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX, and NewsRadio1310.com.